Hello everyone and welcome to the top 10 captains on Bleach Brave Souls. Unlike the Espadas of last week, that only had a few top tier characters on the list, this one consists entirely of top tier characters. With that said, let's take a look at the best captains this game has to offer. Starting off the list at number 10 is the Mayuri that nobody really asked for but everybody wanted, the new power version of Mayuri. They may have given him his old appearance, but this Mayuri is better than any other Mayuri we have so far. He has a really high SP and Frenzy, which makes his strong attacks that already hit multiple times hit double, which comes in handy for Mayuri because all of his strong attacks have a chance of inflicting poison. So double the hits means double the opportunities. His normal attacks can also inflict poison, and his special is guaranteed to inflict. This Mayuri also has a Soul Reaper killer, which really comes in handy in the current meta of the game. Speaking of the current meta, he also has a boosted damage reduction link, up to 20%, which can be stacked up to 80. Sadly, you don't really see this guy much in PvP, as an SP character with damage reduction isn't exactly great. Still, for PvE, this build is actually pretty good, as you can rely on the poison to take care of your enemies instead of the actual damage, which is still pretty heavy when it comes to his strong attacks, due to the high SP and Frenzy. I'm still hoping for a Manga Mayuri, but if we don't get him, this guy is still a good substitute. Next on the list is Captain Soifun, Lost Agent Edition, who is still one of my most sought after characters, and for very good reason. Like Mayuri before her, she can also inflict poison on all of her strong attacks, and she also has a high SP and Frenzy. Not as high as Mayuri's, but it's still really high. Her normal attacks also have a chance of inflicting poison. However, her special inflicts burn, which might as well be the same thing since they're both very similar effects. Now if you're wondering why is it that she's higher than Mayuri if her SP is a little bit lower, the reason is while Mayuri has a boosted damage reduction link, she has a boosted strong attack recharge link. Which, while they're both exceptionally good links, hers is actually way better in this particular situation where they both inflict poison. Because if you stack it, she can pretty much use her strong attacks with less than half the recharge time, meaning she can be constantly spamming the strong attacks and highly increase the opportunity of inflicting poison. Characters with this link have also become increasingly more useful now that the guild quests are out, and most people just strong attack their way through that. The poison is honestly just a bonus when it comes to those quests. Speaking of the guild quest, another thing she's got going for her is her long stride and flash steps. That combo is just amazing when it comes to clearing the guild quest and just PvE in general. Next on the list is Manga Saji, who has one of the highest attacks in the game as well as a normal attack damage link that makes it all the more better. This is because this Sajin has Flurry, which makes all of his normal attacks hit twice and is basically the equivalent of 100% bruiser. Throw his link in there and this guy hits with the equivalent of 140% normal attack boost just by himself. This Sajin also has poise, meaning that his powerful hits can't be interrupted. This makes him really good in PvE and PvP. This Sajin also has a special that, while it doesn't inflict that much damage, does leave him with a significant boost in the last hit of his normal attack, which can really come in handy in PvE by clearing enemies that are further away. Sajin is a pretty heavy hitting tank. Unfortunately, his link in the current version of the game isn't very useful at all, as it's very rare for anybody to come across an Espada that's hard to kill. Next on the list is another manga captain, Monga Kenpachi, who is pretty much the only Kenpachi that doesn't have Flurry, not including Garbage White Kenpachi. This is because K-Lab decided to go with a high SP route instead of the usual normal attack damage route, and it works out pretty well for him. He's equipped with one of the highest SPs in the game, as well as a strong attack damage link and Frenzy. Throw poison in the mix, and you have a pretty deadly character for PvP, as he's pretty much the only high SP Frenzy character that cannot be interrupted unless he's frozen, paralyzed, or killed. Kenpachi is also really good in PvE. His strong attacks not only do a lot of damage, but he also has an Arankar killer, which is better than pretty much any other relevant Kenny in the game. And if that weren't important enough, his special gives him a boost in damage as well as a pretty cool looking appearance. Not to mention that it basically resets his strong attacks, so you can pretty much use 6 in a row. As I mentioned, this boosts his damage, but it only lasts for a limited time. Still, you want to spam your strong attacks in this boost, because when he goes back to normal, they pretty much all come back to him immediately.
地獄から逃げられるのはただ一人。この鈴虫本体を握る者だけだ。
Next is the character that I'm really glad they remade, because honestly they didn't do him justice the first 2 times. That was terrible. Still, Konami is one of the greatest characters you can have right now. He's a high SP frenzy character with weakening on everything, as well as debilitator. He's also ranged and his strong attacks hit so many times, which highly increases the chance of inflicting weakening, and just as importantly increases the combo like crazy. And he has a strong attack recharge length, which means you can basically spam this as much as you like. Honestly, this character is almost made for the guild quests, but that doesn't mean you can't take him on all the other quests. His strong attacks have excellent range, and he hits for a lot of damage. On top of that, he also has the best killer in the game so far, the Soul Reaper killer. Sadly, this character is pretty much PvE only. Taking him to PvP wouldn't be the best thing for him. Coming in at number 5 is the Captain of Squad 10, Toshiro Hitsugaya Movie Edition, who is honestly one of the most fun characters to come out in a really long time. He has a really high SP as well as a strong attack damage link and frenzy, as well as a Soul Reaper killer, which as I mentioned earlier is the best one to have right now. His strong attack 1, while it doesn't inflict a lot of damage, hits multiple times, highly inflicting the chance of inflicting debilitating freeze, as well as looking really cool, because shooting a dragon out of a sword is always really cool. I don't care who you are. His strong attack 2 is actually pretty basic and has pretty good range, and his strong attack 3 is a charge move, which as we all know hits for 240 mag when fully charged. His normal attacks are also pretty good. They're ranged and they also have a chance of inflicting freezing. This Toshiro is easily the best movie character to come out so far, and it's going to be very difficult to top. Though I'm sure K-Lab will prove me wrong in about a month or so.
Bankai 加点胸骨から松真珠俺にて大詰め締めの段糸切りばさみ血染めの喉笛
At number 4 on the list, we have the character with the coolest looking special in the game, Manga Shunsui, whose special not only looks cool, but also has a chance of instantly killing the enemy. You can't deal more damage than instantly killing, or can you? No, you can't. But his strong attack 2 does come really close, as Shunsui is one of very few characters who has frenzy and a 160 max strong attack. He is easily the character with the highest SP to have this, and it's easily the deadliest strong attack in the entire game, if you use it correctly of course. His other strong attacks are also pretty good, and have really great damage. Shunsui also has a decent attack, as well as a nat string with excellent range and speed. But even though his nat string is really fun, having the high SP, sad link, and frenzy means that a strong attack build is definitely the way to go.
4歩のうちに踏みしめた空間の治水化風の全てを凍結する視界氷結
At number 3, we have the character with the 3rd highest SP in the entire game, Manga Toshiro, who, much like movie Toshiro, can inflict debilitating freezing on everything. Unlike that Toshiro though, this one doesn't have a strong attack damage link, he has a strong attack recharge link, which is the best possible link you can have in PvE, and one of the worst things you can have for PvP. Oddly enough, this character is great in both. Thanks to the pretty instant strong attacks as well as everything else I mentioned before, he quickly rose to be one of the best characters to use in PvP. But it doesn't compare to how great he is in PvE, as you can pretty much constantly spam his strong attacks if you have a high enough recharge time, which pretty much brings the damage as well as freezing. He also has pretty crazy range, to the point where you have to be pretty careful in the guild quest not to hit any of the bad cone statues.
Amaino.
Next on the list we have Yama, one-armed version. who is one of the craziest things this game has ever produced. He may not have a high SP, but his strong attacks are very useful, in that they have a chance of inflicting a debilitating burn, and a very good chance because they hit multiple times even if he doesn't have Frenzy. But believe me, he does not need it. He has one of the highest attacks in the game, and he has Flurry, which means they hit twice, especially deadly for him because his normal attacks also have a chance of inflicting burn. So not only does he do a massive amount of damage, he also has twice the chance of inflicting burn on his normal attack, which is something no other character has. And if that weren't enough, this character also has damage reduction as a link that can be stacked up to 76%, meaning he not only hits hard and burns, but also has the potential to pretty much ignore 3/4 of the damage coming at him, letting him auto almost any raid and pretty much dominate PvP, as he has all this and a Captain Killer, which kinda destroys all hopes and dreams in PvP right now. Now before we move on to number 1, here are a few captains that didn't quite make the list, but are still exceptionally powerful characters.
神死にもやり武闘連陣
行くで。
どいつもこいつもトロトロしやがって。行くぜ。
千景千本桜影吉王に一家先陣か。
俺の魚でようこそ逆さまの世界。
挽回水無月雑境はこれにておしまい。
And at number 1, we have a character that probably holds the record for the most amount of times to be number 1, Manga Yachiru. And honestly, I could just stop talking now because you all pretty much get it, but that's not how this works. She may not have the burn that Yama has, but she does have the second highest attack in the game, as well as the ability to heal herself and the rest of the team. She also has Flurry, which we've covered already, a really fast nab string, a damage reduction link that can be boosted up to 76% just like Yama, and a special that heals the entire team, inflicts damage, and has a chance to instantly kill the enemy. It does not get more broken than that. But wait, it does, because she also has a Captain Killer, meaning she'll do 40% more damage to anybody else on this list. Sadly, it doesn't work that great in PvE, but it's not like you need it. This character is both your tank and your healer, who hardly ever needs healing because of the damage reduction. Thank you guys so much for watching. Sorry this video came out a little late. I will try not to do that as much, but things have been pretty busy. That said, if you enjoyed this video, hit like and subscribe, and stay tuned for the next top 10 list.